Let me say a special good morning to our listeners, those of you listening Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9. Good Friday morning. It's the 27th of October, 2023. Good morning to you. I'm almost getting ahead of myself this morning for some reason or the other. Let me say good morning to my viewers, those of you via Channel 7, Channel 11, or Channels 20. Good morning. Let me say also good morning to those of you via social media platforms, whether it's the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, and saying good morning to you and thanks for being with us this morning. Those of you also viewing via GBN's webpage, gbn.gd, good morning and welcome to another edition of To The Point. I'm your host, GT. I'll be you for the next hour. And with me, I have a special guest with me this morning. We have Dr. Richard Nixon with us this morning. And he's the resident ambassador attached to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And this morning, we're talking, investment incentives. We're talking a whole lot about that. Let's go over and say good morning to Dr. Richard Nixon. Dr. Nixon, good morning and welcome. Welcome to The Point, sir.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on, and good morning to all of your viewers on the social media platforms and wherever you may be. Good Grenadian morning to each of you.
Nice to have you, sir, and welcome. Now, you've been recently appointed to the post of, the investment incentive, and there's a committee that's been appointed or set up, if I could put it in those terms. Tell us about this appointment. Tell us about your appointment, first and foremost, and how it came to be, and also tell us about the committee itself. That is just in left with the of course that big job of investment incentives. Tell us about that a wee bit.
Well, as you may know, I've been involved in the diplomatic field for many years, and I think there's an opportunity for me to provide a lot of input and guidance, and as a sounding board for different foreign affairs matters. So I think that's one of the reasons that I'm assigned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is to assist in the growth of foreign policy and foreign service. Regarding the committee, Cabinet has made a decision to appoint a technical working group of about 9 people on the group from customs, internal revenue, inland revenue, GIDC, Grenada Development Bank, Legal Affairs, Ministry of Finance, that's working on reviewing the current incentive regime that's been in existence from 2016. And as the investment world evolves, I think our policies need to evolve as well. So government is looking at where investments are going, what kind of incentives foreign and local Grenadian investors require in order to invest in our country, and look at the trends, and try to marry all of this with the transformational agenda of the government, and to kind of be thinking ahead rather than playing catch up. So I think this is where the focus of our work is to review and revamp and make recommendations in where we think the industry is going and how to build a sustainable economy, focus on the transformational sectors, and at the same time ensuring government's revenues and objectives are being met. So I think that's the nucleus of where we are and the work we've been charged to do.
All right. Now, you spoke a wee bit about the committee. You spoke about of course, what the structure, a wee bit about it. Tell us about these individuals who makes up this particular committee. Tell us about these individuals, if it's possible.
Sure. We have, hold on, I have to read from this. We have Ms. Britton, Siobhan Britton, who's the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance. We have the CEO of GIDC, that's Mr. Theodore. Then we also have the Senior Investment Specialist, and that's Kathy Ann Pear. We also have the VP of Investment Promotions, who is Mr. Cumberbatch, who has recently left GIDC to take up the post of CEO, General Manager of Grenada Development Bank. He remains on the committee because he has a wealth of knowledge and experience in this space. We have Sheena Lewis, who is a acting controller of Inland Revenue. Karen Forsyth, the acting controller of Customs. We have Lisa Telesford from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Mr. Emmanuel Duncan from the Chamber of Commerce, and myself. those are the 9 members of our committee.
All right, happy to know that. Now, in terms of in the investment incentive, I understand there's been an act that's been passed or reviewed, some of the sort. Tell us about that, and how's that, of course, channels its way to being part of the committee?
Well, as I mentioned, the last investment regime that was passed was in 2016. The world is a much different place today. It's been 8 years, 7-8 years, and investors' appetite changes a lot based on economic conditions around the world. It also changes on technology and the demand of clients whom they wish to serve. So I think in Grenada's case, we need to recognize the fact that an investor is not only someone that's coming to build a hotel or build a factory or whatever. They may want to get involved in the creative arts. They may want to get involved in renewable energy. They may want to get involved in agriculture, aquaculture, and the processing therewith. So we have to look at the trends of places that have a similar demographics that we do, and we need to be very competitive, because when an investor looks at investing, they look globally, and Grenada needs to be on a similar stage and standard and get the attention of these investors. Now, of course, you wouldn't get someone invested in a train in Grenada or whatever, because that's not in the transformational agenda, and it's not in our economic benefit. It doesn't make sense. But yes, we do have lots of things. For example, hydroponics, greenhouses, fish processing, light manufacturing. There are a lot of things that we can do as in Grenada, and we need to find a way to attract these types of investments. Now, again, I must say that our goal is to make investment opportunities in Grenada very attractive for Grenadians as well. So we'll be making some recommendations of how we make investments more palatable and easier, and lower the bar for Grenadians and in the diaspora and in Grenada to invest in our own country. We need to be part of our future.
All right. You have just actually answered my next question I was going to ask. I was going to ask, in terms of investment, investment has always seemed something of a foreign for foreigners, if you could deem like that. We always seem foreigners are the one that we push the attitude of wanting to invest in Grenada is. So my question was, and you rightfully answered, how can Grenadians, especially local Grenadians abroad, and you just said, there's be a lot of you and your committee itself will be pushing ideas that will certainly help Grenadians abroad and locals, benefit from investment in Grenada, and not just for folks of a foreign nature, if we could say like that. And you actually did answer that question there for me, some way to a point. All right. Now, with your knowledge in investment a lot, and being in the diplomatic flow a whole lot, now, what are the options if investments are available in Grenada? You spoke a wee bit about some that you think will be able to offer individuals who wants to invest in Grenada. What are some of the options of investments that you seek? Being part of the committee, I know it's been recently formed and so forth. But what do you see? What's your vision for investment in Grenada? If I could ask it in that way.
Well, I certainly think there's a lot of downstream industries that we can focus on. For example, sargassum. I believe there's a lot of investment opportunities there, for converting into energy or fertilizers. So we need to look at this because, we have this problem. So let's turn it into a positive. I think the opportunities in light manufacturing, for example, bicycle assemblies or small electronic assembly, that's not very much in the environmental pollutant, but things that we can do here in Grenada. And again, we need to look beyond Grenada as well. We have these trade agreements within CARICOM and OECS. Let's look at the larger market and try to attract investors into Grenada to look at the larger market rather than just Grenada. So I think creating a hub and a larger market is quite helpful. I think there are opportunities in business process outsourcing. Many years ago, we used to do a lot of data processing here. We don't do much of that anymore. We have Clear Harbor that's doing a great job and expanding. We need to take that model and replicate it into different sectors so we can get our people working. I think garment manufacturing is a huge opportunity to benefit from the CBI trade agreements we have with the United States. I think there's a lot of stuff that could be done, and we need to start thinking ahead of what our assets and attributes are and how we can leverage those into creating generational wealth and a sustainable economic base for all Grenadians.
Let me also ask you, because you didn't mention it in your last statements about the CBI. How can the investment incentive and the CBI program, how can they mesh? How can they mesh together?
Well, I think the CBI program is something that is very, very attractive. We need to protect it as much as we can because there are a lot of bad actors out there, and those are not the ones we want to attract to our program. I do think that to build your economic base, you need to increase your tax revenues. And to do this, you need more stimulus in the economic world. We need more people. We need more investments. And I think CBI provides an avenue to that. The traditional perception, actually, of selling passports. No, we're not selling passports. CBI is not about that. CBI is about attracting investment into Grenada for quality projects and approved projects. And one of the benefits you get for doing that is the benefit of Grenadian citizenship. So we're not out there selling passports and don't look for any return to Grenada. No, those days are long gone. That's not what we're doing. Having said that, I do think through the CBI, we can set up a small business incubator fund that's probably could be managed with through GDB to look at small entrepreneurial projects in Grenada that have, we have a lot of good ideas, good projects. We can bring it to sustainability, look at a good business plan where it's profitable, you have maybe 5-10% return, and we can use this type of incubator fund into investing into these small businesses to get these small businesses off the ground. That's one of the concepts that I think CBI can be beneficial from. CBI needs to touch the Grenadian community. And and it's not doing that directly right now. Grenadians need to see the benefits of CBI, and I think the government is starting to do some projects. I've seen some, I think the Mankuma Road, which is funded by CBI. I think these are the things we need to do. We need to make it visible to Grenada so Grenada can see the benefits from it. So yes, so I do think that's one avenue of marrying investments with CBI. And I'm sure there are a lot more ideas out there that can work, but this is what I can think of the top of my head right now.
All right, great. We due for a break, Dr. Nixon. Let's take a break. We come back and we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio and the GBN TV. We'll be right back after the break.
Get ready, Grenada, Carrick and Pity Martini. The countdown to our 50th anniversary of independence has begun. On October 31st, 2023, all roads lead to the Carnage for the launch of our Jubilee celebrations in 2024. The excitement starts at 4 p.m., showcasing local culinary delights, artistic talents, and captivating performances in a magnificent display of our nation's traditions, culture, and history. Following a spectacular reveal of the Independence theme and logo, celebrate with top entertainers, including the Black Wizard, Nivian Cox, Mr. Golden, and Dash. Grenada's 50th anniversary of independence celebrations. Be a part from the start, and let's make history together. For more information, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Visit www.grenadaturns50.gd or call 438-5050.
Grenada nice, Grenada nice, Grenada nice. Messi mentioned the wing kai, then you have things like man, you must come back, you know. We have the low power that.
It is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake, I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page, and YouTube channel for We Culture.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio and GBN TV for today, Friday, the 27th of October. And with me this morning, I have, of course, Dr. Richard Nixon. And, of course, he has been part, he's also the chair of the investment incentive. Let me get those words together. Of course, the program. Dr. Nixon, good morning and welcome back to the program this morning. Seem to get a little bit of a tongue twister there for some reason or the other. Another question I would like to ask is it's something that came across my mind during the break. We know of GDIC, all right, GIDC, of course, and the role it plays in terms of also in investment incentives here in Grenada. How would that be meshing together using the same terminology, meshing together with the investment, of course, incentive committee? How would it be GIDC?
Well, GIDC, when it originally was conceptualized, was to be a one-stop shop for investors. I think it should remain the epicenter of investments because there's a lot of capacity and knowledge inside of GIDC. I do see that there's a need for more staffing and maybe more operational financial support. But most importantly, when an investor approaches GIDC as the first point of entry, an investor asks a question about energy cost or whatever it is, GIDC would have some information, but the investor may get a little bit deeper, and GIDC would reach out to the various ministries, and it takes forever for a response because everybody is overtaxed. But I think we need to prioritize requests that come through GIDC because GIDC is not asking for GIDC. They're asking for an investor who have investment dollars ready to spend and they want to make decisions quickly. Because if you sit on money and you don't use it or invest it, they'll put it somewhere else. So I think we need to have a paradigm shift in ensuring that when an investor is interested, whether it's a local investor or a foreign investor, it doesn't matter, investor in all its entirety, we need quick, accurate, and committed responses to these investors. So I do think that GIDC have the right legislation and the right framework for this. We need to get empowerment, capacity, and speed of responses going back to the investors. So yes, GIDC, I think, should play a critical role in discharging these incentives and helping us grow as economic base in Grenada.
Dr. Nixon, also, in terms of, the investors that we are looking to attract in Grenada, knowing of the past review of investors that has come through Grenada, are we looking at the typical same investments, this time around, knowing that the committee set up? What sort of investors are the committee trying to attract? I'm assuming there's been conversation that the grouping have already, of course, gone into and talking and ways of looking, going around the island and looking at the various investments possibilities on island. What sort of investors are the grouping looking to attract to do investment in Grenada?
Well, I think the focus would be on the transformational agenda. We're very much focused on the creative arts, forms of renewable energy, agro processing, fish processing, business process outsourcing. Yes, of course, hotels, because we do need some more, quite a bit more hotel rooms, to encourage the airlines to keep coming and keep them filled. We also need some forms of entertainment. I'm not saying casino type entertainment. I'm saying things for people to do once they're in Grenada. So it could be a refurbishing of the hiking trails. We're doing some things now with the forts, which is fantastic. Grenada have a lot of history, and we need to look at heritage tourism, which I think can be a huge, huge opportunity by itself, because when someone comes to Grenada, they want to know more about Grenada. They want to connect, and we want them to connect, so they come back and bring their friends. So I think those are some of the things that we want to look at. But most importantly, we have to vet our investors properly to make sure that they're credible, they have the funding or good idea, good business plan, and not speculating. The days for speculative investments, I think, are over. Our land is becoming very scarce. I think the government made a policy that all prime lands would be leasehold and not freehold, which is excellent. So an investor can come in. We have to vet them properly. Make sure your business model, your business plan makes sense, that it's sustainable. So once you start, we know the business would continue, because then that provides employment for our people, and it goes back to building generational wealth. We have to start focusing on generation wealth. Where our kids and the younger folks coming out of school, they see a future and a positive, bright future. I think that is where the focus should be, because they are the next generation or two. They are our future, and if we don't take care of them with proper education, proper healthcare, business opportunities, places to work, and feel good about living and working in Grenada, I think we have failed as an older generation.
All right. Ambassador, let me also ask you this. There's an ongoing debate among economists, about concessions, or incentives for especially when it wants to attract someone to come and invest. Which one hold precedence? The investor or the incentives? Is it the investor or the incentive? Which one holds a bit more of the precedence? From you, let me hear your thoughts on that.
I think the incentives are more, it's going back to the chicken and egg argument, right? But I do believe if you don't have the right incentives, you will not attract the right investors.
All right.
So we have to have a nice incentive package, so investors will be interested in Grenada. If we don't have proper incentives, why even look at Grenada? So I think that comes first. And we've hired a consultant as part of a group from the Netherlands, and he's looking at best practices in other parts of the world that have similar economies to us, and not necessarily size, but the sectors, to make sure that we are on point. We're ahead of the game. We're right there. We're current. We're relevant. So when an investor looks at Grenada, they look at different parts. They say, "Oh, well, Grenada has this, they have that, They're lifting their standards to be like every other countries in the world." Yes, we have limited resources, we have limited capacity, but it doesn't mean we should have limited opportunities.
Happy to hear you say that, because there's always been the conversation that there's limited in terms of incentives for offering someone to invest in Grenada, because we always have that typical way of what we offer, the sun, the sea, and the sand, and to a point, there's as much as that can go in these day and times now. So I was always thinking, what more could you think from your point of view? You did mention some previously. What more could we offer someone in terms of attracting that individual? Hey, Grenada is the place that you can come and make that investment.
Well, I think we have a very good safety record, and I hope it stays that way. If you look at the per capita for violent crimes, I think we're still on the very low end of the scale. I think the genuineness and friendliness of our people is fantastic. I hear this all the time. Grenadians are so friendly. We have this Afro-Caribbean thing that's going to be at the stadium tomorrow. Yesterday, I was with some of the the artists and so that came in, and they said, "Oh, my Grenadians are so friendly. Everybody's smiling." These are the things that gives me hope that we do have an edge. The people connection is important. Yes, the business is fine, the incentives are fine, but if an investor is not comfortable and feel that they're loved and cared for and easy to get along with our people, I think these are the things that are also very important to an investor, not just the initial cost, but the ongoing relations, to deal with Grenadians. So I think these things are key assets.
All right.
But I would like to go back again. If we do not have the right incentive package, an investor would overlook us. And we cannot let that happen.
I certainly agree with that there, 100%. Now, let us talk a wee bit about the proposed amended Incentive Act a wee bit, and the mandatory aspects of it for trading, especially when it comes to locals alongside, in terms of getting, the work permits and so forth to operate. How would that affect the incentive of an investor and so forth? How would that work?
Well, we'll be making some recommendations along those lines. I don't think we understand the issue. I don't think we have a good solution as yet, because we have to keep in mind that when you give up a lot of incentives and the work permit revenues, government is losing revenue. So we have to find a way to keep government revenues balanced, so government meets its obligations as well. So we're going through these exercises now of revenue shifting, revenue generation in other areas. So I really can't speak to that succinctly, but we will be making some recommendations along those lines. And yes, we do realize that there is an issue, and we would make recommendations in attempting to resolve the issue. At the end of the day, Cabinet would make the decision. We can make the recommendations and what's going on in different parts of the world, but at the end of the day, Cabinet would be the ones to decide on this.
All right, great. Because there's always, as you said, an investor coming here, individuals coming here to invest, always have to be happy in terms of whatever they have to do, in terms of the overall how things are done. The happiness of the investor is important. Dr. Nixon, we due for a break. Let's take another break. We come back. We also invite our viewers and listeners out there who may have a question or two they may like to ask you. This is interesting, and knowing in terms of how the incentive for investment. And I'm sure there are Grenadians who are living abroad who are viewing and listening to us this morning, and may also have a question or two. And I will certainly give them the opportunity to ask you that, and a couple other questions that I may have. So let's take that break. We're coming right back. Stay with us, folks. Here on To The Point. We're coming right back. Stay with us.
You want to get an insight into your life? Are you willing?
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number one. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
Feel good facts. Help prevent cold and flu by washing your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. That's the time it takes to remove most germs. No soap and water? No worries when you've got alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
No, that's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out. making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point here on Classic Radio and GBN TV. With me this morning, I have, of course, Dr. Richard Nixon, and, of course, we're chatting this morning, investment incentives. Of course, recently, committee appointed that will certainly deal a whole lot with all the various investments in Grenada and the incentive that will be offered for individuals wanting to invest. I did promise we're going to take some calls from our viewers and listeners this morning. I already see we do have a caller already online. Let's entertain our first caller this morning. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning, GT, and morning to Dr. Nixon. The thing about it, I think as long as we put the economy ahead of everything, as since Adam Smith, where the economy is the dominant actor, we'll be in trouble. We have to put the economy at the service of the society, and the most followed, the ecology. And what I've seen over the years, whether it's the CBI, the Caribbean Basin Initiative after the invasion, the North American Free Trade Association, and whatever, all of these have helped to improvise our people, to make our people worse and more dependent, including the settlement investment thing, that thing with the citizens selling the passport and everything. And as one who took the government to court years ago over the first version of the CBI, I could never support citizens by investment, regardless of the rationale. Nonetheless, I wouldn't debate on that. One of the things I noticed when Dr. Nixon listed the committee, he had a chamber, which is not surprising. But you know labor, and you have civil society, which could make a big difference. We had a social compact coming out from the social partners. This being put on the shelf. And wondering whether they're willing to consider some of the ideas that came out through that initiative. And the fact is that there are many ways we could generate economic activity. One of the first things we need to do, is to teach our people to be entrepreneurial. We don't do that. We had that the junior achievers. Where are the junior achievers? I mean, these are things we go wrong in circles. Another thing, one of the things we could benefit from is the issue of interns. There are people who want to come intern. You talked about heritage tourism. There are many aspects of tourism we could do which doesn't have us giving away our land, destroying our ecosystem. There are many things, but the people who need to bring some ideas are never brought to the table. In 2007, I did a seminar 1 week with other Canadian officials and so on, entitled Foresighting. And one of the things that ENIB, a New Zealand based in Trinidad, said, we need to focus on niches. And I remember the late George Bizan, soon after invasion, was promoting niches, like growing avocado and saying avocado is becoming a major product in the world. But they're saying that we could have advantage, and we're not. Finally, someone who married a Grenadian, whose wedding I was asked to be part of it, told me years ago, he came here, saw a need where he wanted to bring in surgical stuff so that could serve the Grenadian population. And the GCI people at the time tell him, no way, he doesn't bring in goods and something like flour and sugar and this kind of, easy stuff. We need to look at the thing that we need that could make a difference, but we don't do that. And I believe because most of the people we put on committees and so on are people who are not connected with the reality of what we live. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Dr. Nixon, any response to the caller's comments this morning?
That's quite a bit there, but I'll try to I'll try to address some of the issues. Some of the things when I mentioned agro-processing, excuse me, it considers, entire, agro-based, the avocados, the soursop. Yes, we're looking at all of these things. There are things with mango and pulping fruits and preserving it. So it's a whole gamut. And as I said, we're looking at the future in where the industries are going and how our natural resources can be used to take us there. So it incorporates a lot of that stuff. One of the things that I think was very interesting from the caller was the issue of internships. I really, really do believe in this. I think we send our students all over the world to study, and in particularly China, they have to, when you do your undergrad studies in China, you first have to spend 1 year learning the Chinese language because the courses, 99% of the courses are in Chinese, which is not the easy language to understand. And these kids, they go, they study, they graduate, they come back, and there's not much for them to do. Maybe this whole internship thing, we can find companies to absorb them, give the companies a tax break or whatever, and a small stipend to these students or graduates, and maybe you'll find someone thinking ahead that can take your business to the next level. So yes, I fully believe in the internship issue, and I'll bring this up with the committee, and let's find a way to get this thing included in the work we're doing.
All right.
So yes, I appreciate the call, the comments from the caller, and I can tell that he's quite passionate in ensuring that we do the right thing. And thank you for your comments.
We do have another caller. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning, GT. And good morning to Dr. Nixon. In the interest of transformation and development, and with Dr. Nixon's ideas, I think something I look at and I want to try to see if we could get that going. I spoke a bit sometime in the other program that we are not too small. Some people condemning that we don't have the population to do with it. But what I am promoting, look at it this way. We can run Grenada with a 2-shift system. We have one from 8 to 4. Let us take 4 to 10 is a different shift. I discussed it with some other people. They said 10, man, we could go to 12. The population in Grenada, we goes to sleep more. Everyone go to sleep mostly at 12. We have the port working 24/7. All the security system working 24/7. Glen working 24/7. Nawasa working 24/7 already. And you have restaurants, hotels, they're doing shift, and they're doing some of them doing 24/7, but we don't go in, everything not going to 27. Let us get the port operating where they're taking barrels, you can clear barrels up to 8 o'clock. They are complaining about the buses not running late. So that will create an environment there for the buses to run later. Then we have a generation that retiring at 60. We have about 2 population waiting on them to retire to get a job. They have a lot of people training and doing all this stuff. Where are they getting jobs? There are lots of other things we can do in this avenue to create jobs. Sometimes even like some of the nightclubs, some of the same nightclubs, the people that not going and working in the night, they can go to a club in the day and with soundproof and dark-proof and whatever, and enjoy themselves, and then later on they go to work. So we having fun. We're doing everything. The tourists and all the people that are coming from abroad can do the same thing. Now, what I look at it, we want to go forward, but we have Grenada like a car with the hand brakes and the foot brakes. The foot brakes is properly, you're ready to take off, to drive off. But because the hand brake's up, every time you try to move, the hand brake's holding you up. So let's get together. Think about it serious. Look at places like Hubbard's, Ace Do It Better, Creative Design. These places are already designed and modernized for night jobs. The only thing about it, we'll have to train the people because the shift that's shutting down, if it's not properly organized, it'll jam the shift that will take over because a guy will not report what have to be done. This is not working, so when another shift taking over, they know exactly what to do. But we have to look at that seriously to getting, we small, but it's happening in some other countries, so certain things will happen. Let's try we small, but let's think.
All right, caller, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. A bit lengthy there, Dr. Nixon. I'm not sure if anything about it that grabbed your interest and could probably be meshed within the committee that will work in terms of the investment, something where you could offer an investor in time to come.
Well, I certainly believe that in order to increase your productivity, yes, we may need to do some two-shift system, and let me say this real easily. Most folks that want to do some maintenance on the house or add a room or do whatever, they do it on weekends because they work during the week. In the weekends, all the hardware stores are closed. You can't buy some wood. You can't get a screw. You can't get a fixture or something. And yes, I do believe with the caller that we need to extend our hours. And it goes back to, is it the chicken or the egg? And I think as economic activity picks up, you'll find business owners like the Hubbards that Do It Best or Real Value or whomever these stores are, they would see the demand picking up and they would make the paradigm shift. But I think we have to stimulate the economy, get our people working, put more spending power in their pockets so they can do more and create more shifts. Yes, I fully agree. I think eventually we would be evolving into a two-shift system. Very much so.
All right, great. I agree with some of the comments from the board callers that we had a while ago in terms of ideas in which they're throwing forward. Now, Dr. Nixon, in terms of the whole investment initiative that we said, now before I continue my question, we do have a caller. Let's take it, and I'll suddenly come back with my question. Let's give the caller some precedence. Good morning to you, caller. Welcome.
Good morning, GT and Dr. Nixon. How are you, sir?
Good morning.
Yeah. GT, I think what is saying we need some more hotel rooms because we don't have enough hotel room in Grenada. For a country like Grenada, we need more hotel rooms. And also, we need for the government or the hotels to get in together and put something in place that with all the talk shows and all those kind of things that they have like on CBS and all those places like The Price is Right and other things, that they could give, the hotels could put things together and give a free trip to those guests that win and come to Grenada. So they could free advertisement will come to us, to the country. So people go see Grenada also and they're going to want to come to Grenada if they try to do those things. That will help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you also for your contributions there. And I think you understand where the caller is coming from there, Doctor?
Yes, yeah, of course. I think we have to be careful in getting governments involved in private businesses. It's up to the hotel operator to decide if this is something they want to do, and maybe it's something that should be taken up with GTA to encourage them to do this, because GTA is all over the world marketing Grenada, and I think if they have some agreement with hotels where they can offer this to different parts of the world or the game show people. I think I've seen on The Price is Right or sometime many years ago there was a trip to Grenada. And I don't know what the economic impact of that was, but I do agree with the caller. We need to do these things to get Grenada out there. So yes, I would caution having government get involved in dictating to private businesses how you run your business. I think government needs to create the right environment for businesses to grow and flourish, and that's where our focus is to create the right environment.
All right. We do have another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning. I'm just butting in, and I want to give my little piece in turn. For all all the holidays, we hear an advertisement. Number one, there is no transportation. No transportation to take you here and there. How will people get there? They had thing in Grenville, harvest, even the church people having harvest, one in Munich. Somebody in town, they used to have buses traveling from Grenville to St. George's. I don't think they have one now, and if you have one, very few, you have to fight to get it. Now, we go abroad, and when we come back here, we bring all what we see abroad. Grenada is no little Grenada, you know. And we must educate our people. When we go over abroad and we come, teach them, train them. Don't come down here to make them look at you as if it's Jesus just come from the sky. We all are one people. And if we've been taught, open a transportation, do something for the people. The elderly people can't even go out here nothing. You're 14. When you come out, you look like a zombie. We need that. And I'm begging for this thing.
All right, caller. Thank you so much. I'm not sure how it's the comments, of course, meshes with our conversation this morning, but I do understand where she's speaking from, but I don't think it meshes with our conversation this morning. Doctor,
I agree with you, and maybe this is something the Ministry of Social Development can look at.
All right.
At your transportation, but I understand where the call is coming from.
I certainly do also, but it just doesn't mesh in with our conversation this morning. I want to ask you another question, of course, Dr. Nixon. You know, with the Investment Incentive Act that was passed and of course revisited, has the investment incentive, has it ever served Grenada in the past?
Well, I think it has. I think you've seen some development in industries or hotels or stuff that businesses are starting, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's, and this is my personal opinion and what I'm seeing through a work, it's not enough, because if it's enough, then we'd have more businesses, and again, God bless JIDC. I think they have a human resource issue, a capacity issue, because something I believe in all my heart, if you're not in front of your customer, your competitor is. So if we're not going out there or have points of presence out there where investors are in the diaspora or in China or India or wherever, points of presence in front of customers, I guarantee you our competitor is. So we need to find a way to empower our story and get the messages out there that Grenada is right, ready, and open for business. So this is one of the things we'd be making recommendations on, is how do we have points of presence in critical countries of the world or communities where there's a high amount of disposable income to invest into Grenada. So yes, I think the current regime worked for us. It's probably not working today, and maybe this is why Cabinet has appointed this committee to review and make recommendations how we move this forward.
We do have another caller. Let's entertain them. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Hi, good morning, JT, and good morning to your host.
Good morning.
Over the years, I find small business owners in this country, they don't get the push and the support enough. And small operators in this country really help build our country. But everybody look at more bigger hotel, more people outside, but the small business here, I find something should be in place to help them. Like you may prepare in for 100 person a day. If you want a commercial stove, you have to pay over $5,000 for that stove. You're doing since you register as a commercial business, They charging you $50 for 1 meter every month. You have to pay $50 for a meter for small business. And small business do play a role in this country like any other business. So I find that they should be able to support smaller business and look into the interest of a place where you could go in and talk to them and see what help they could give small business. You go in and buy a stove over $3,000, it lasts you only 4 years. That's 4 years done. If you take it and hire purchase, as you don't pay for it, you have to buy a next one again. So it's really hard and struggling for small business, and we do a lot in helping build our country.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Dr. Nixon, I'm not if you got the drift in terms of the caller's contribution, if you want to respond.
Yeah, sure. Big businesses will want small businesses. So I do believe in supporting small businesses because you never know how it's going to evolve and grow. And yes, there are challenges in some of the appliances that are out there. They don't last as long, or you have the difference with the cycles. You may buy something that works well in North America, and then you bring it to Grenada where cycles are different, and it doesn't last as long. So maybe this is something the Bureau of Standards need to look at. But I do hear the concerns. Small businesses are the backbone. They hire people and they have the volume, to make some impact. And part of the chart we have. The charter we have from Cabinet is to focus on small to medium-sized enterprises. So some of these things will be addressed in our work.
All right. Dr. Nixon, we drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we come and get some closing comments in terms of course, the way forward. We come back right back after the break. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point.
Get ready, Grenada, Carrick, and Pity Martini. The countdown to our 50th anniversary of independence has begun. On October 31st, 2023, all roads lead to the Carnage for the launch of our Jubilee celebrations in 2024. The excitement starts at 4 p.m., showcasing local culinary delights, artistic talents, and captivating performances in a magnificent display of our nation's traditions, culture, and history. Following a spectacular reveal of the Independence theme and logo, celebrate with top entertainers, including the Black Wizard, Nivian Cox, Mr. Golden, and Dash. Grenada's 50th anniversary of independence celebrations. Be a part from the start, and let's make history together. For more information, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Visit www.grenadaturns50.gd or call 438-5050.
Grenada nice, Grenada nice, Grenada nice.
Mr. mentioned the wing kai, then you have things like manuals, force combat, We have the low power that.
It is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake. I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page, and YouTube channel for We Culture.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new...
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Let's say good morning once again, and welcome back to Dr. Nixon. Dr. Nixon, and we're getting set to wrap our program up for the day. We just have approximately 3 or 4 minutes left of this program. We didn't speak a whole lot about the incentive, of course, that could be offered, especially to locals, local Grenadians who are abroad also, and even individuals out there in other parts of the world who may be interested in coming and invest here in Grenada. Now, is there anything that you would like to mention before we close this morning that would suddenly grab the interest of individuals wanting to really come and invest in Grenada some more?
Sure. We want to hear from all of your listeners. We had some calls, we had some good feedback, because we're building Grenada for all of us, not just a selected few. And we'd like the diaspora and folks out there that care about your country, that care about Grenada, to have some input in the way we go forward. So yes, we would love to hear from you. I would say in the next week or two, if you can send us an email, it's incentivesgrenada@gmail.com. Just send us your comments, send us your concerns, because we want this to be about you, not only about a selective few. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to hear your thoughts. Even today on this call, I've made some notes of some very good ideas. So there's wisdom in the multitude of counsel, as the Bible says. So let's get the information in, talk to us. We want you to be part of this process, but we have to finish our work and get it out. So if you can get back to us within a week or two, that would be great. But we want this to be about us, but all of us. So we'd love to hear from you.
Dr. Nixon, I want to thank you for being on the program this morning and sharing, and certainly all best wishes goes out to you and of course the committee, and certainly hope that as time goes by you get those of course requests coming from individuals sharing their ideas. That would certainly help to build more capacity for you and of course the committee. Thanks once again, and best wishes to you. All the best. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, and have a good day to you and all your viewers and listeners. God bless.
Thank you very much also. Hey folks, that's how we take a wrap for today's program on To The Point. Join us again for another edition. Next week, we do have an edition of To The Point for you. Have yourself an awesome one, folks. That's why I say goodbye.